Hey everyone, and welcome back to Hustle on Purpose. Today we are answering your real estate related Reddit questions. Let's jump right into it. First off, we have a question from RE Wannabe. He says, how often do you buy an old home with a foundation issue? Most single-family homes that meet my criteria in my market are 50 plus years old. Everyone I look at has some foundation issues with sinking or shifting. How common is this? Is this a deal breaker? So some of this depends on your market, right? Soil in different markets reacts differently. Some markets rarely have foundation issues. Some markets have foundation issues all the time. My primary market is in Central Arkansas. We have a lot of foundation issues. Soil shifts. We've got a lot of hills and valleys and water runs off. So drainage and foundation issues are a major thing to look at when you're looking at investing in a house here. It is certainly not a deal breaker. It's just a factor to take into account when considering your purchase price and your renovation costs. If you're not comfortable with how much foundation repairs are going to cost or how much the drainage repairs are going to cost, be sure to contract that property with an inspection period and bring out a structural engineer, landscape architect, whatever you need to do for the drainage and the foundation to get firm quotes on those repairs before you close on the property. But no, certainly not a deal breaker. I buy stuff with foundation issues all the time. It's just a variable to take into account when you are making that deal. So go out there and buy you something with a wrecked foundation and make it work. Next question. All right, so we've got a question here from Night Killers. Is it possible to have a few properties by age 40 with a regular 9 to 5 and of course renting? I always see everyone promoting to invest in real estate, etc., but they don't mention they were already rich, 1 million plus, before really taking off. Just wondering if it's possible for a middle income individual, personally 102K right now. Yes, absolutely. It is 100% possible for almost anybody to own investment properties. There's a lot of education that probably needs to take place for you to learn how to structure those deals, the financial part on your end, how to incentivize a seller to make them work with your creative financing that you come up with. But yeah, I can attest to it personally. I did not get into real estate with any money. I had a 9 to 5. Really, it was more like a 6 to 6. But yeah, absolutely. There are two different paths of real estate investing loosely. There are people that make money and put some of that money into real estate investing. And then there are people that do real estate investing to make their money. It can certainly be easier if you have, a lot of money or a really high income profession to then just take some of your expendable income and invest it. The investing in real estate to make your money is a more difficult route, but either is completely possible. I would just encourage you to educate yourself as much as you can. And through that education, hopefully it will spark some creativity for you and you'll come up with a way to get started. Hope that helps. All right, next question we have here from Sudden AD 3547, and they say, why do landlords care about tenants having renter's insurance? If there was an involuntary fire, for example, wouldn't the landlord's homeowner's insurance cover the damages to the building? Renter's insurance doesn't cover the property, and the landlord is not responsible for the tenant's items. So why do many landlords require tenants to have renter's insurance on their lease? This is a great question and possibly a common misconception. Renter's insurance will cover damage to the property if caused by the tenant. I used to not require renter's insurance, and now I do. The average cost of renter's insurance for the tenant is $12 a month, And it covers an abundance of things. If you're a renter, it can cover damage to your property and theft. Somebody comes in and steals all your TVs, or any damage happens to property of yours, it can be covered. Tornado comes and hits your rent house. All of your, the landlord's going to be covered by their homeowner's insurance in that case, but all of your belongings in that house are not covered. Your renter's insurance can also cover a place for you to stay. So if a tornado comes through and hits the rent house, my homeowner's insurance will cover the damage to that house, and my landlord's policy will also cover loss of rents. So I don't have to come out of pocket the rent that you're not paying me because you can't live there. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't pay me anything to cover for you to have a place to live. Your renter's insurance will pay for you to have a hotel or a short-term rental or whatever. And it will also cover damage that you cause to the property. One of the main reasons I started requiring renter's insurance is I've had a tenant start a fire in a kitchen. My homeowner's policy, my landlord policy, has a $5,000 deductible. This lady did about $6,000 worth of damage to a house. She rents the house for $750 a month. So for her to come out of pocket for the damage she was responsible for was like almost a year's worth of rent, 10 months worth of rent. It was an expense that she wasn't able to cover. And as a landlord, it puts me in a really tough spot. I understand that the fire was an accident, but it was her fault. My options are to pay for it out of pocket, claim it on my insurance and risk my deductibles going up and all of that. And I'm still going to have to come out of pocket that $5,000 deductible. I can kick her out and send her to collections. There was just really no great options. We were able to work it out where we got the work completed. I paid for it out of pocket while she stayed in the house because she didn't have any money to stay anywhere else. And we worked out a payment plan where over the course of many, many months, she is still in the process of paying me back. But all of that could have been avoided by having a $12 a month rental insurance policy in place. I also had another person that drove their car into the exterior condenser unit on the house, did about $4,000 and completely ruined their AC. That would have been covered by a $12 a month rental insurance policy. So now we require that. It is better for everybody involved. And in the grand scheme of things, the $12 a month is a minimal expense and well worth the money. So hope that cleared that up for you. Next. All right. We have a question from Logic Chain 12. How do you know how much one of your properties is worth realistically? I took a look on Zillow and Redfin. Don't do that. On just one of my properties, and there is a $70K difference in value, and then Redfin gives a pretty wide range. Any way besides putting it up for sale to get a pretty close to accurate valuation of a property? Is there a site that is really good, usually, or you recommend? Don't look up your properties on Zillow or Redfin. I mean, you can if you just want to for fun, but don't take any of that stuff as quality information. It's likely just going to get your hopes up that your property's worth a bunch, or just leave you confused like it sounds like Logic Chain is here. The best way is to find comps. So we say comps in the business, it's comparable sales. And there's good and bad comps. The closer the property is geographically that recently sold, the closer it is square footage wise, year built, condition, all of that. If there's been several houses in your neighborhood that are similar build, similar year, similar square footage that have sold recently, that's going to give you a pretty good idea of the current market value of your house. Call any local real estate agent. I don't think I've met any that wouldn't take the 5 minutes it's going to take them to pull those comps for you and give you a great idea of what your house is currently worth. And normally, historically, it's been pretty stable. The last couple of years, it's been all over the place. So it's always a good idea to check your comps routinely, just to know what your home is. Typically your biggest investment, right? So it's never a bad idea to have a pretty good idea of what it's worth. And don't use Zillow and Redfin. Call an agent. They'll be happy to help you out. Next. All right, we have a question here from Wonderful Comedian 21. Seller won't allow inspection. Have a house under contract that I found off market. I'm getting about a 30% discount on market value. The house is in pretty good shape based on my walkthrough. That all sounds great. I asked to schedule an inspection and the seller is not wanting to allow it, citing she doesn't want people in the house due to young kids and being pregnant. It states clearly in my contract that it is contingent upon inspection. This is my first off-market deal, so my question is to those with experience, would you move forward without the inspection? I don't plan to use it to negotiate further. I just want to get a good list of defects that need repair. However, this behavior makes me a little nervous. The seller is hiding something. Yeah, I think your suspicion is correct. I mean, they're selling it to you for less than 30% less than market value. There's going to be some defects. There's a reason they're not listing that house on the MLS for full market value, right? With getting a property for a discount usually comes some defects that need repairs. I absolutely would not purchase this house without doing that inspection. Especially it's your first off-market deal. I have bought stuff without an inspection, but it's usually at less than 30% off market value, and it would be hard for there to be enough wrong with the house to not justify just buying it as is. And the fact that they don't want you to have it just speaks more to that. There's probably some serious issues. Don't be desperate for the deal. You'll find other deals. And plus, you have a contract with this person and it's in the contract. I would just push to get that inspection. And if you're not experienced with inspecting homes, I would take somebody with you. Take a home inspector or take a contractor or two, and just tell her you can make it fit her schedule. I mean, I've got young kids and my wife has been pregnant 3 times, and I get it. Having people in the house is a bummer, but if she wants to sell that house, she should let you do that. So hope that helps. Best of luck with your deal. Next. All right. We've got a question from All Rise 29. Makes me think of like Judge Judy or something. All Rise. Like a bailiff. Anyways, we have a $200K plus HELOC we want to use as a down payment for a rental property. What are the pros and cons for using a HELOC as a down payment? Are there better strategies to use a HELOC for REI? Thank you. Yeah, so a HELOC, for those of you that don't know, HELOC is a home equity line of credit. It is a way of accessing equity that you have in your primary residence. And REI stands for real estate investing. So they have some equity in their home. They want to tap into that to buy into a real estate investment. It's a pretty common strategy, and I think it works well. It's common for people's largest investment to be their primary residence, and accessing that capital, that equity that they have there, it can be a good idea. If he was going to use that to invest in the stock market or something a little bit more speculative, I would probably advise against that. But using it to invest in real estate, if it's done well, can be a really, really good thing. The cons to using a HELOC is the interest rates are high right now, but if you factored that into your new potential investment and it makes sense and the cash flow is there, then I say go for it. Another con is you are leveraging your home, right? So if things do go south, your home is at risk, which is just something to think about. Just make sure that what you're investing in is the risk is worth it to you and it makes sense. The pros are HELOCs are easy. They're flexible. You've got a relationship with that bank. You've already got that loan with them. You've been paying it on time. You've built that equity, and they will typically be more than happy to write you a new loan. There's usually a new appraisal because your old one from your original financing has just aged out. There needs to be a new appraisal. There's still a bit of a process, but it can be a pretty quick turnaround and give people quick access to capital for things like a down payment. I think it's a great strategy and it can work extremely well. Just be aware of the interest rates and the fact that you are collateralizing your house on an investment. And there is risk there that just needs to be thought through. So good luck. I hope it works out for you. All right, that's going to be the end of part 1 of our series of answering your real estate questions on Reddit. Hope you enjoyed watching this. Hope you got something out of it. Share it with somebody else that may need this information. Send us your questions. Put them in the comments if you have any questions that didn't get answered today, and we'll be sure to get those on the next one. Thank you for joining us. Check out our podcast on YouTube and Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. You can check out any of our other videos on real estate and entrepreneurship as well. Thank you for joining us today. See you on the next one. And remember, guys, hustle on purpose. Thanks for watching. If you liked that video as much as we liked making it, be sure to check out another one. You've got one here. You got another one over here. If you want to listen to the podcast audio only, go check out the Spotify link in the description. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It helps us out a ton. And please hit the bell if you want notifications anytime we drop a new video. Hope to see you on the next one.